Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're taking the ferry from Civitavecchia in Italy, near Rome, all the way over to Barcelona, 21 hours. So we're going to show you how everything works. We're in the main terminal now. We just did our check-in. We've got our tickets for the car. We came with the car because we're on our way to Spain for a longer stay. And it's a 21-hour crossing going right between Corsica and Sardinia. So we're looking forward to that. We've got a room with a porthole, queen-size bed, ensuite, shower, and toilet, full bathroom there. And we're just about ready. We have to get out of here and go down to Pier 32, which is about a mile or two down the road apparently, and we'll pick it up from there. But hope to get some good footage of us going onto the boat, and then we're going to get in there, get into our cabin, and head to bed, and we'll see you in the morning with more updates of how the boat is. We did this trip once 2.5 years ago in February, and it was a bit of a disaster. Delays, service issues, getting kicked out of the room 10-12 hours before we arrived in Civitavecchia because we did the reverse route. So we're going to see how it goes this time. Hopefully better. The price is right, and we'll talk about that later. Alright, so the terminal itself is quite nice, but we had some fun with the agents, to be a little sarcastic. Waited in line for one, and then she closed her window just as we arrived at it, went to the other line, and that agent did the same when we got up to the window and sent us back over because the other lady was coming back from her break. Interesting that they would set up their break time right when there's a long line of people waiting to check in. The terminal itself has a bunch of stuff, but it was just the beginning because you can neither walk on to the boat from the terminal nor drive on directly near it. And what happened next was quite interesting. So I went outside, got back to the car, and saw a fella in a small car waiting, port staff, and I just went up and asked, how do we get to the boat? And he said, you'll follow me when enough cars get together.
Buonasera. Grazie.
So that ride was about 2 miles, maybe 2.5 miles, and all the way on the other end of the port. Went by one Grimaldi boat and eventually got to the Cruise Roma, our vessel for the day. Always fun loading up. As I mentioned in previous videos, we lived in Seattle and we took the ferries from Bainbridge Island to Seattle very often. You'll see I've had a couple of different ferry videos, this one and the one from Denmark. Now the stateroom itself, we were told we were getting a queen bed and ended up we were getting 4 individual beds, 2 singles and 2 fold down beds, but all in all comfortable enough beds. The bathroom is fine and a little tight in the shower to be sure, but hey, to have your own room with beds and a toilet and a sink and a shower is great on a 21-hour trip. Now, how much did all of this cost? Now, I just turned 60, and that makes a big difference because if one person is over 60, everybody gets the senior discount, and there's also a September, October kind of discount. So we got lots of discounts, paid $25 per person, actually reduced then a little bit. The outside cabin with the big window was $70. The car was $50, and we had one standard breakfast, one Wi-Fi package, and one business breakfast. And with all the discounts, it cost us $191. Now, this is a significant savings over driving all that distance. So here we're going to start taking a little bit of a tour around the boat. Lots of shiny chrome, things that all just been washed down. We had beautiful weather for the crossing, just like we did 2.5 years ago. And I went out to get a couple more shots of the pier as we pulled away. I'd say the boat was fairly empty. It was not very empty like the last time when maybe there were only 75 or 80 people and a bunch of trucks and new cars being moved from one country to another. I'd say there were probably maybe 300 to 400 people on this boat. And that turns into some issues a little bit later when you talk about outdoor spaces and how comfortable they are. So pushback right around 10 p.m. here. Beautiful, clear night, smooth seas. Get to see the pool at night. Everything's lit up beautifully. This is the outdoor cafe, and that's the one where everybody goes to sit and smoke for the entire journey. So, around the ship, let's take a look. There are a lot more spaces that were open this time than in February. This is again that outdoor cafe. This is one of the snack bars inside. You can see here a little bit of the history of the different ships from the Grimaldi line over time. That was a fun thing to do. And here's the standard breakfast, a couple of pieces of bread, jam, butter. I think I replaced coffee with a chocolate milk and a bottle of water, and the apricot juice was extra. One of the coffee bars that was open the whole time here. Nice little selection of croissants and coffees. And the big change from last time is that everything now goes through these touchscreen ordering systems. That I don't remember seeing it all the last time. This is kind of the main lounge where everybody sits around towards the end of the cruise. Got some TVs that weren't working, some outlets that weren't working. So it was also a bit of a problem, not unlike last time, but again, a beautiful day to be sailing across the Mediterranean. 21 hours, about 800 to 850 kilometers. Absolutely gorgeous day. Of course, when you're up on deck, it's going to be windy, very windy. Now you can do your laps, you can get your steps in if that's what you want. But yeah, it's going to be windy, and they do have these plexiglass dividers that certainly help if you're walking a little bit behind them towards the stern. But as you get up towards the bow in this open area around the pool, which we get to see now in the brilliant sunlight, can you imagine? This boat holds 3,500 people. In the summer, how crazy crowded it must be around that pool when there are literally thousands of people on the boat. We got to see the opposite boat crossing there, the other Grimaldi Lines. I forget what the name is. Yeah, here's the snack bar that we ended up having lunch in the second day, mostly because the cafeteria was packed and we found that we could get a very decent burger here and a little bit more personalized service. That was great. Now this is all the way at the front of the lounge, the big lounge, and these are the slanted windows that look out to the west in the direction we were going, and unfortunately you are not allowed to open the curtains. So many hours later, you can see we're starting to approach Barcelona, and here we are. One of the things that really bothers me is that they make you get out of your staterooms very early. The last time it was 8 to 10 hours early. This time, the first announcement was only about 3 hours early, and they kept making the announcement literally every 15 minutes after that. So, all in all, how did I find it? I find going on Grimaldi across this long distance, I have mixed feelings. On the one hand, it's a great deal off-season. I think we even paid less than we did last time. If you watch my other video on this from back then, I think I paid $250 for that reverse crossing from Barcelona to Civitavecchia. And this time with the discounts, I'm guessing maybe that's the big difference. The senior discounts, now that I'm 60, added up to enough to bring it under 200. Again, you'd probably pay close to 120 in gas, maybe another 100 in tolls. You'd probably have to do one night in a hotel plus all the meals to drive along that way. I'll put the exact number of kilometers that the driving distance is onto the video after I'm finished with the recording here. All in all, I can see where this is a wonderful way for people to get across, especially if you don't need a stateroom. I think it's just like 30 or 35 euros to go literally almost an entire day across the Mediterranean on this boat. Shoulder season now, off season, very few people, not crowded. It's not a problem, but the problems that we had last time remain this time. Public spaces are not kept particularly clean, meaning public restrooms. The smoker lounge remains a place with an open door, and the smoke just comes out into the big hallways right at the door's literally 5 or 10 feet from the door that goes into the cafeteria. So when it's busy and there's a line out the door for people trying to get into the cafeteria, the people in the smoking lounge are sitting there smoking, and you're just kind of enveloped in this cloud of smoke. So that is something that for me is a pretty big problem. The quality of the food looked a bit better this time. We didn't buy anything a la carte from the cafeteria, but we saw options, pasta, meatball, so different things like that that looked pretty good. We didn't go into the main restaurant, the fancy restaurant this time. We did that last time and we were very disappointed. Some watery ravioli. So not worth the up price to sit at a nice table with cloth tablecloths and nice silver and all that. You know, this for us was transportation, getting from Italy to Spain with the least amount of driving. So it worked out really well for us in that regard. It does get very boring. There is really nothing else to do on the boat this season. Like I said, the TVs weren't working very well. There is no onboard entertainment. There was a fella kind of doing some karaoke in the big lounge, but it wasn't anything really official. And he had an audience of maybe 15 people in the evening towards the arrival in Barcelona. Loading, unloading, no problems at all. Really good staff getting everybody on there. Watch out for some of the drivers. Boats are supposed to load and unload a certain way, and you know, for weight balance and all of that kind of stuff. And we just saw people who were facing in one direction had to go down to the end and come around to kind of keep the flow and the balance right. And they were just turning around middle and causing all kinds of traffic issues there. But we were lucky to be pretty close to the front when unloading came around, so that went pretty well for us. So again, it's a mode of transportation. It is not a cruise ship. It does not have a lot of entertainment. It's not particularly well maintained nor very clean. Don't expect to really be able to see out your window. I'm not talking porthole. We had a very large window, but you can't really see out it because the windows are so filthy. What are you gonna do? It's a ship on a big body of water. It's gonna get, you know, spray and rain and dirt on the outside, and I guess they can't clean it every cruise. So would I do it again? Only if I have to. I've done it twice now, and neither time was great. One time was in February, and it was really empty, really dirty, really smoky, even inside. This time was a little less empty, a little less smoky, a little more modern with the order touch screens. And the burgers we had in the snack bar were pretty decent, I'll say that. But it may just be more fun to drive around because there's just nothing to do on the boat. Anyway, there you have it. Second chance for Grimaldi. Effective at getting you across, not particularly interesting as a cruise. So take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.